Unstoppable kick-ass confidence. Are you ready?
Welcome to the Raw and Unscripted Show with Christopher Rausch, where we help you overcome your self-created crap without the self-help fluffy bullshit. Now please welcome our host, Christopher Rausch.
What's going on, rock stars? Hey, welcome back to another episode of the Raw and Unscripted Show with yours truly, Christopher Rausch, the place where I help you overcome your self-created crap without the self-help fluffy bullshit. And tonight we're going to be talking about that self-created crap, ladies and gentlemen. So I encourage you, whether you're tuning in live on the video cast or you're listening to us on the podcast, take some notes. Take some notes, ladies and gentlemen. I encourage you every single week to show up here and take 3 action items from the broadcast and implement them during the next 7 days. And then you show up for the next week and you implement those 3 things. And like building blocks of your life, you will begin to see results in your confidence, in your output, in your personal relationships, your professional relationships, all areas of your life. I promise you this. We've been doing this for 6 years. We are on episode 302, I think, tonight. We just celebrated our 300th episode. And if you missed that episode, go back and please check that out. It was a fire episode. We talked a lot about good things. We talked about how you start something, how you stay consistent with it. And kind of tonight, you know, the episode tonight, I think we, let me see what we titled this. God's honest truth. I'm going to be honest with you guys. I have had a heck of a day. You can hear it in my voice. I've been through some shit today that challenged me to respond and not to react. So I might be talking a little bit about that, but I titled the episode tonight, Rewire Your Mind, Break Through Mental Blocks. And this honestly, what came to us by popular demand, I put it out there and said I was going to be doing a solo broadcast, which I'm going to be doing more of here in 2025. And I asked you guys, what is it that's going on in your life? What would you like me to talk about? Again, based on the fact that you come here, you show up and I help you with your life and you go out there, and the way you repay me is you work on those things that you, the strategies that you took, and then you share that with other people and you share the episode, and together we make this world a stronger, better, more cohesive, confident place. There is no shortage of stress and overwhelm that's going on in the world. And so when you think about that title, breaking through mental blocks, rewiring your mind, this is a perfect time for that. And I have to give credit where credit's due. There was quite a few people that reached out to me, both publicly on social media, the places that I posted it, and then also privately asking me to talk about this. But I want to give a shout out to Todd, and I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing your name correctly, Dudis. Todd and I have a coaching call coming up pretty soon. And he put on a social media post, and I just wanted to highlight him specifically. So thank you, Todd. He says, mindset, breakthrough depression, feeling state, and how to perform at peak levels no matter what. So again, breaking through depression, you know, we have all those moments, not necessarily being depressed, but having those depressive moments, which I can definitely identify throughout my 55 years of being on this planet. For those of you, actually, we'll talk about that in a second. And then also I want to give a shout out to my friend Noodles. He says, talk about yourself, talk about your experiences, talk about the positive shit you're thankful for every day. Talk about the minuscule good things that make you laugh. In other words, just be you. You're a champ with a gift for empowering and uplifting people. Maybe give us some juice on the book, and we will listen. I love you, brother. So thank you. There's so many other people that reached out. So thank you for doing that. And speaking of the book, for those of you guys who have been living under a rock, here it is. It's called It's Just You and Me, Kid. The website is up on the screen right now. It's justyoumandmekid.com. It's as it's spelled. It's Just You and Me, Kid. It is a story about my life. And for those of you guys who have been listening to the show for a while, you guys know I've been talking about this for a long time. And it's been a painful journey. Number one, to write it and relive everything in the experiential detail that I want you to go through and walk the path of my life that I've walked, because not for the sympathy, but for the strength. And even talking about mental blocks and rewiring our brain, I am an expert at this. And even today, I had to remind myself that I am that expert, and I had to take my own advice rather than wanting to react in certain situations. But this book is a documentation, if you will, from me being a 7th grade homeless dropout who lived in the backseat of a station wagon with 18 cats and 4 dogs. That's the truth. With a mother with various psychological challenges. I went through a lot of stuff. I tried to kill myself twice. Unfortunately, I sucked at it. And then it wasn't until I had a gun put to my head and I told the guy to pull the fucking trigger. And I thought my life was going to be over at 17 years old. And then it occurred to me after that, when he didn't pull the trigger and we got the misunderstanding straightened out, let's just say that. And I found myself in a motel in Southern California, and I was looking at the prostitution that was going on. I was looking at the drug dealing that was going on. I was looking at the cop cars that were there. And I really thought my life was going to be all about working 3 jobs and barely making it for the rest of my life and trying to survive and stay off the streets. And I thought about that, and I really had this like whisper in my brain that says, Chris, what are the ways that you can get out of this? And I thought about it, and I thought number 1 was going to be in a cop car because I was doing bad things with the bad people. The next one was in a pine box because I nearly got killed. I got carjacked once. I tried to kill myself twice. Fortunately, I sucked at it. So I thought, I'm going to die. I'm either going to do it myself or something's going to happen to me and I'm going to die. And then the third realization came to me and I thought, oh, fuck, Chris, you might have to actually do something. You might have to leave your mother with psychiatric disorders in this hellhole of a place. You might have to start taking responsibility for your actions instead of trying to make her love and approve of you, which as kids, we tend to do that with our parents. And that last one hurt. That last one really kind of sucked. And I will tell you this, the short version of the story is I made that tough decision. An opportunity presented itself, as it often does in our lives when we're challenged. Something shows up and says, hey, Chris, are you ready? Hey, whatever your name is, are you ready? And then something shows up and we sit there and go, oh, should I take that job? Oh, should I end that relationship? Whatever it might be, you insert that experience into your blank. And we've all been there. We've been at that crossroads where we are tempted with, a different form of our life. And we often find it scary. We often find it uncertain. We often find it unpredictable. And we are creatures of habit. And so oftentimes we stay in the shitty experiences that we're in because they are known experiences to ourselves. And we don't have to take that risk. And we don't have to put ourselves out of our comfort zone. But much of the conversation tonight and is right now, when you think about that title about overcoming mental blocks and rewiring our brain, it's exactly what I'm talking about. I had no confidence, zero confidence. When people sit there and give me compliments when I'm speaking from stage or I'm doing the podcast or I'm on an interview, they're like, Chris, you're so confident and you present yourself so well on camera and you're so articulate. I can guarantee you this, guys, when I was a kid up until 17 years old and even past that, I was not a confident person. So in this book, it is all about that experience, the ups and the downs, the peaks and the valleys. Just because I got out of that motel and just because I got off the streets didn't mean my life got any better. It got better to a certain extent. I started eating ketchup sandwiches, which I was very thankful for. Literally 2 pieces of bread, some lettuce and ketchup. And I did that for quite some time. 25-cent macaroni, top ramen, 25-cent burritos, you name it. I lived on that for years. And I continued to press on. And through the journey with my mom, it's all detailed in this book. It is an incredible book. I am not shitting you guys. Just because I wrote it, no. So many people have asked me to write this book. I did not want to write it. I did not want to go through those experiences again. I've had to read this book probably 20 times during the editing process with 3 different editors. It is painful. But more so than being painful, it is inspirational, even for me, because I would have loved in a perfect world when people ask me, like, what could you wish for? I wish, and it's not even possible, but I wish I could go back and I could see video footage of me going through some of these experiences because I myself can't believe that I went through them. When I was writing the book, I'm like, this sounds too preposterous for me to even say out loud. Did this really happen? And I will give you the spoiler alert. My mom passed away. I wrote it after she died. So I have nobody in my life to verify this information from. So I had to write the book in order to get it out before I started forgetting anything. And I had to ask myself, what truth is this? And that's what we have to ask ourselves. What truth am I telling myself? Because oftentimes it's our version of the truth. My mother would probably have a completely different version of the truth. Here's a funny story. Not really. I was at dinner with her one night at my house when she was really sick, towards the end of her life. And we talked about something about me writing a book about my life story. And she said something to the effect of, you're going to make me out to be like a stupid bitch, or you're going to make me out to be a selfish bitch. You're going to make me out to look bad, which is the crux of what she said. And I mean, this is probably about a year before she got really sick, probably a year and a half. The last 2 years were hell, which are in the book also. And I said, you know what, Mom, you're right. You potentially could be right. Let's do this. You get a voice and I get a voice. You tell your version. We'll pick 10 situations, 5 situations, whatever it might be. You tell your version of the story. I'll tell my version of the story. And then what we'll do is we'll read each other's version, and then we'll talk about it in a conversation form in the book to find out how we can see each other's perspectives from this. It was a huge ask. Unfortunately, she never kept up her end of the bargain. So I had to do my very best. In God's honest truth, another aspect of this book, which is very healing for people who have trauma or have bad histories with their parents, is in her honor, in her defense, whatever you want to call it. There were times where I asked myself, how would she see this from her perspective? And my mom often said she did the best she could with what she had, which oftentimes I call bullshit on and said, no, you didn't, Mom. You were very selfish and you were very self-centered. But in writing the book, I realized, and I realized this in my life, and this will help you also. I realized that if I gone through all the experiences that she did, having her parents get divorced when she was 4 years old, her parents were in their early 20s. This was 1942 when she was born. So they got divorced in 4 years. So what is that, 1946? I don't know. I can't do years. 4 years. No, it'd be 1948. I'm terrible at math. Plus I'm super exhausted right now. And I realized had I gone through those experiences, I would be just like her. And so in the book, I actually try my best to see things from her perspective and honor her in those opportunities. And the last chapter of the book is kind of like a Dear Mom letter, because she did pass away before I started writing the book. And so it is something I'm super, super proud of. Again, for you guys listening, it's justyouandmekid.com. Go there. You can get on the mailing list. You put your name, you put your email. Once the book is ready to come out, we're going to do a whole promo launch. I want you guys to be on the launch team. I want you to be a part of it. There are bonuses and extras that I'm going to give you. I'm not going to go off them here, but you can see them on the website. If there's anything that's not on there that you'd want to know or want to see, send me an email. And I would love to provide that for you. Because I know when I read an autobiography, oftentimes I have questions. Whatever happened to this? And what would you do differently about this? And so you're going to have that opportunity with me as a loyal fan of the Raw and Unscripted show, which, thank you, by the way, we're in like 30 plus countries now. So all of this ties into the conversation tonight about rewiring your mind and going through a depressive state and going through mental blocks, because you know how I did all of that? I ultimately went back to school and got my GED. I ultimately earned my master's degrees. I spent 12 years, ladies and gentlemen, consecutively going to school. I got my GED at 17, 18. And then my mentor, Bill White, encouraged me to go to junior college. And I spent 4 years getting a 2-year degree because I was working 2 full-time jobs. And then I went and got my bachelor's and my master's degree. I did those through accelerated courses. So instead of 18 weeks, I did 9-week courses while working a full-time job. At that point, I was starting my operational career, my leadership career. And so I did that. I never gave up. And so I'm telling you guys, wherever you're at in your life, you can do it. You have to put one foot in front of the other. And here's the kicker. Whether you fucking feel like it or not, I didn't feel like going to school. I thought I was stupid. I dropped out in the 7th grade. But I went to those college classes feeling like I was an imposter. What the fuck am I doing here? Super long hair, halfway beard, smoking cigarettes. I was hanging around 18 and 20-year-olds that had perfect lives and all this other stuff. And I felt like an outcast. But I sat there and I said, you know what? My past does not dictate my future. And because I had beautiful people in my life that were saying, yes, Chris, you can do it, I believed their belief more so than my own, and kept wanting to take that next particular action because I didn't want to end up like the people I saw at that motel. I didn't want to be a drug addict. I didn't want to be an alcoholic. I didn't want to be a failure. I didn't want to go to jail, and I didn't want to die. And so it took that progressive strengthening of my mind. And then I started reading personal growth books and listening to Tony Robbins and Les Brown, who I ultimately got to meet. I listened to these self-improvement tapes. I went to a fucking library and checked out personal development tapes. And I listened to those and I consumed all this content. Then I started reading autobiographies about famous and successful people. And I started seeing that success leaves clues. And I started realizing if those people can do it, so can I. And is it going to be easy? No, it's not easy. But you know what? And I can say this with all honesty, it's worth it. The challenges that we face every single day are presenting us with the option to be the best version of ourselves that we can possibly be, so that ultimately when we pass and you're all going to die, When you think about your life in those moments, like, fuck, did I live or did I exist? Did I try and fail and experience the zest of life, or did I play it safe and certain and stay with people that I didn't like or in situations that were good for me? I want to reflect on, man, I fucking busted my ass and I kicked ass and I was a hell of a person that made a difference in this world. You get to answer that for yourself. If right now, if you died tomorrow, who would show up and what would they say? That was a defining moment for me. That was a defining moment for me back in 2008. I thought 15 people would show up and they bring Jack Daniels and Miller Genuine Draft and talk about all the stupid shit Chris did. And then, by the way, oh yeah, he was a 7th grade homeless dropout who changed the world. I thought that was going to be the postscript on my funeral, but everybody's going to talk about all the stupid shit. Oh yeah, he was really super successful and made a difference in the world and made people change and live their lives. So when you think about rewiring your brain, you think about going depressive states. How about this? How about looking to that and realizing that it's happening for you and not happening to you? Again, what I teach is about perspective. So if I can just shift my perspective just a little bit. Why does this keep happening to me? Why does this keep happening to me? I can't take this anymore. I can't do it. I'm not strong enough. We're going to talk about negative self-talk here in a second. But when you sit there and you say, you know what, this is happening for me. This is a test. This is a challenge because I can get through this. God, source, universe, what do you believe in if you don't believe in it? This is happening to help me build the future version of myself, because we're no longer yesterday's Chris. We're no longer yesterday's Stephanie or yesterday's Charles or yesterday's Todd or whatever it is you put your name in there. We're today. And like I said before, we have the opportunity, and I was just telling this to my son, part of my challenges today, telling this to my son, you get to make the choices. You motherfuckers out there listening and watching, you make the choice. You make the choice to stay in the miserable job and not do anything about it. You stay in the financial ruin situation and not Google what the fuck to do. You stay in that miserable situation. Yes, you. I had to change my situation and it fucking sucked. It hurt and it was challenging. My mother called me every name in the book, told me I was selfish and an asshole and tried to have me arrested for taking my own car. All these things, which again are in the book. It's just you and me, kid. And all the different things that happened in my life. My first marriage failed. You can read into that what you want, but it was a very, very growing experience. I'm still friends with her today, 35 some odd years or 38 years. I can't even remember how long it's been. And I live a blessed life. I live an amazing life, not without its challenges. Like I said, today tested me in more than a few ways, and life is testing me right now in more than a few ways, but it's okay because I'm excited to get on that on that other side of that, because I get to share that with you. And together as a community, as a family, as a rock star family, as a community of unstoppable kick-ass people, we get to rise above another day. And so when you think about going through mental blocks and depressive states, when you wake up in the morning, what is it you're going to focus on? Are you going to focus on what it is that you don't have and how, oh, if I only had more money, only if I only had the right relationship, only if I was 100 pounds thinner, only if, then I would be happy? Because that's bullshit. That is bullshit. I can tell you this, guys, because I know and have known famous celebrities, famous rock stars, millionaires, billionaires, business owners. And the one thing that I find, well, there's a few things I find in common, but one of the few things that I find in common amongst them all is they said, I wish everybody could realize their dreams of material wealth and realize that's not the answer. It's not the answer. It's from what's within. Sure, it would be nice to have Maseratis and Ferraris and, vacations and all sorts of money. Does money solve happiness? Sure, to a certain extent. But if you're miserable inside, if you don't love yourself and you're looking to material wealth and abundance to make up for that, it's not going to work. So when you think about that depressive state, when you think about having a breakthrough, the first thing I want you to think about is, do I love myself? Yes or no? And if you struggle to answer that question, by all means, get therapy. Therapy works. There is online therapy. There are so many therapy options now. It's ridiculous. And if you don't find the right therapist the first time, the third time, the seventh time, keep going. I've seen multiple therapists. I've probably seen 20 therapists in my life since I was a teenager. And there are a few therapists that stick out that ask me questions or help me walk through things in such a way that I get to be the person that I am today. And so when you think about it, if you don't love yourself, if you don't like yourself, and you're looking to the person that you're dating or the person you're married with or your job or your career or your business, if you're looking to that to fill that void, I'm sure you already know the answer to this. It's not. Nothing will fill that void. But I can promise you this. I have met people with nothing. Nothing. I've met homeless people who have more abundance in their heart that will give you the shirt off their back because somewhere inside they truly love themselves and realize that they're just in a situation. Does that happen with all homeless people or drug addicts? No, it doesn't. But the point is this. If you're struggling to fill that void and you're doing it with alcohol or booze or Netflix or cell phones or social media, whatever it might be, I'm inviting you to take a look at that today. I'm inviting you to say, can I be honest with myself? Right? I have coached lots and lots of people through breakups, through career changes. And you know what I hear most often? There's a few things that pop into my brain. Again, this is raw and unscripted. I did no planning for this except for some questions. I wish I would have done it sooner. Chris, I wish I would have done it sooner. Chris, I wish I would have ripped the Band-Aid off sooner. Do you want regrets in your life? I sure as shit don't. No. No. And that's why I invite you to take that imperfect action. That's why I say, when you look at yourself, and I'm a hell of a lot fucking stronger than I give myself credit to be. I love myself for who I am and who I am becoming in the next 3 months, 6 months to a year. I have a coaching client who has been with me a year and a half. I've known them for 3 years. They are finally on the other side of everything, and they have met the person of their dreams. Their career has taken off. Their health is much better, like probably 80-90% better from where it was, mentally and physically and spiritually. They're happy now. And now they're excited. Like, Chris, now I want to help people. Now I get why you do it. And so my first inclination, they said, what do you suggest I start? I said, start helping kids. Start helping kids. Go to speak to schools. Go mentor at-risk kids. The kids of our youth today need our help. It is beyond, and don't even get me on a tangent. I can't imagine what a lot of kids are dealing with in households across the world with the fear and the anger and the bullshit and the dividedness. Oh, fuck Trump, fuck this, fuck that, da. The world's going to hell. Their ozone's going. The kids need us more than ever. They need you, especially if you're a parent. Stop with the bullshit. Stop with the hate. Stop with the fucking those people are wrong and I'm right. How about saying, you know what, son, daughter, we need to look at things from their perspective. I wonder what it is that's causing them to have those beliefs. Don't even get me started. Let's see. We have some comments here. I didn't even have it on the comments. What's up, Robert Broker? He says, hi, Christopher. Hi, Robert from Canada. We got Elizabeth Montes in the house. What's up, Elizabeth? I know Elizabeth very well. She's a good friend of mine. Thank you, Elizabeth, for joining us. I'm sure it's interesting for you to see me on this side of the camera and this side of life. Let's see. Elizabeth says those bus boogers. Yes, the bus boogers. We won't even get into that. Robert says, I did the 6-phase meditation this evening. I will be doing this every day. Thank you, brother. I appreciate that. I see your growth. Robert's been a long time supporter of the Raw and Unscripted show, so thank you for that. So let me get into shit. I've already been talking for 23 minutes, and I am fucking tired. So let me get into this a little bit. So I told you a little bit about myself. That's what Noodles wanted me to do and talk about that. A little juice on the book. So right. So one of the questions that I did get is, what's the number one mistake people make when trying to change their mindset? Okay, again, let me repeat that for you guys. What is the number one mistake people make when trying to change their mindset? Number one mistake is thinking that they can't do it. Oh, this is the way I've always done it, Chris. This is the way I am. Whatever excuse you might want to put it in there. The self-defeating language is something I really want to talk about tonight, because I find so many people saying that they're going to try to do something, right? If you're a fan of Star Wars, Yoda says there is no try. There's only fucking, what is it? I'm not a big Star Wars dude. I'm a rock and roller. But But here's my point on this. When you say you're going to try to do something, you're giving yourself the opportunity to fail immediately. Oh, I tried to do it, but Chris, you don't understand. I didn't have the time. I didn't have the money, whatever my excuse might be. What is your excuse? I'm going to try to get up at 6 o'clock. I'm going to try to go to the gym. I'm going to try to eat healthy. I'm going to try to have a conversation with my family. I'm going to try to grow my business. I'm going to try to save money. Doesn't it sound ridiculous when you hear me say it like that? So, number one, I want you to stop using the word try. Sure, in the grand scheme of things, do I want you to try to be healthier? Of course. But here's my invitation to you, is you're no longer going to try to be healthy. You're just going to be healthy. Because when people sit there and tell me they don't have the time or the energy or the knowledge, I literally had somebody, and no offense to the person that said this to me, but I had somebody ask me, Chris, how do I eat healthier? Or how can I be healthier? I think it was something like that. And it's no joke. They said it. It is what it is. But I kind of want to make a little example of this. We all have one of these. Some older, newer, whatever. But in here, you can go to Google and you can type. You can thumb type how to eat healthier, how to cook healthy meals, how to make sweets that aren't bad for you, how to fix your finances in 10 steps, how to get out of debt, how to talk to my creditors, how to have a better relationship with my husband or my wife. 5 questions to ask my family every night that will spur creativity, whatever it might be. People are not using this for the right reasons. You have a fucking computer in your hand. When I was a kid, when I was doing math, my teacher said to me, it's not like you're going to walk around with a calculator in your pocket. I wish I could talk to Mrs. Johnson. I don't need algebra, lady. I don't need, what was the other fucking thing that I hated? Was not a math person. Fractions. Yeah, I was not a fractions person. My son's learning math on a level that I can't even begin to fathom why they're teaching kids this new math. Don't even get me started. So when you're going to try, no, how about this? I'm going to get up at 6 a.m. and I'm going to go to the gym tomorrow. And if you get up at 6:05 and go to the gym, so fucking what? Get up and go to the gym. And then keep that promise. The other thing I'm going to tell you guys is keep your promises to yourself. So many times, I'm going to do it this year. I'm going to start that business. I'm going to do all the things. And it's good to be eager and it's good to be excited. But the commitment, the discipline, that's why people hire me as their coach. Because every single week, what were your wins? What were your losses? What questions do you have? What's the challenges? What are we going to do next week? What are the 3 things? What are the things you need to make those 3 things happen? What are the potential obstacles? You have accountability. You have a support person in your corner. If you don't have me, you need an accountability partner. Who is somebody in your life that you could say, hey, Janine, let's be accountability partners. And what I mean accountability partners, if I don't do something I say I'm going to do, you get in my ass, and you, not literally, you get in my ass and you say, hey, Barbara, why didn't you do it? Hey, Maria, why didn't you do it? Hey, Todd, why didn't you do it? Well, I just didn't get around to it. Oh, okay. We'll do it next week. No. Why didn't you get around to it? There's 24 hours in a day. Why didn't you prioritize it? Why didn't you make yourself a priority? Accountability partners need to be truthful, right? That's why a lot of accountability partners don't work, because I don't want to hurt their feelings. I don't want to hurt their feelings. I don't want to make them feel bad. No, you're a shitty friend if you don't make somebody feel bad. Jesus Christ. If you love somebody, honesty hurts. Sometimes it does. I've had people be honest with me, and fuck, did it hurt. But boy, did I need it. And if those people had not been honest, I would have continued doing the same bad behaviors. And then people just go, I'm not going to hang around Chris anymore. He's kind of drinking too much booze. He's kind of being too funny. He's being too flirty. He's being whatever. But if I didn't have people that were saying like, hey, Chris, we got to have a little talk, dude. You're being too motivational, which I had some friends of mine do an intervention on me one time in my 30s and said I was too positive. And they felt bad for saying they had a bad day. But those are the people that care about you. You need those people in your life. If you think you're going to do it alone, you're not. You're not a lone island. I had my mentor. I had my friends. I had my loved ones who support me and have supported me. I have my mentors now. I have 3 mentors and a coach. I check in with one pretty much every week. I check in with another about every couple of 2 to 3 weeks. I check in with my coach once a month to once a quarter. Actually, I just talked to her today. I have those people. Plus, I run a group coaching program where those guys ask me what I'm doing and how I'm doing on my goals. So I have a lot of people in my life. I have leverage. Plus the fact that every single day I wake up and I set the intention, what am I going to do today that by which doing so, when I go to sleep tonight, I'll be proud of? You ask yourself different questions, pointing at you, you get different answers. But if you wake up in the morning and you look at this shit and go, oh my God, fucking what's Trump doing? Oh my God, the world's going to hell in a handbasket. I have so many people telling me the world's going to hell in a handbasket. I'm like, not when I walk outside. People are fucking cool. I talk to people every single day. I make them laugh. I make them smile. I make them think. I help kids. I help adults. I have a good time doing it. And I have my challenges by which so, like today, I get a chance to sit back and go, hey, what am I supposed to be learning from this? There's a question you should write down. Put it on a dry erase board. Put it on a sticky note. You guys know I'm a fan of this. If you write it on a sticky note and stick it on your monitor and you make it a priority, guess what? You can take the sticky note down once it becomes a habit. So what am I supposed to be learning from this? When you're in that depressive state, if you're looking to get a mental block cleared, what am I supposed to be learning from this? I guess I'm supposed to be learning, maybe stop shoveling shit in my mouth when I'm fucking stressed out. Maybe stop hanging around people that all we do is bitch about shit and we don't do anything about it. Right? You think about that. Misery loves company. Misery loves company. I'm finding, and I've had somebody ask me this recently, and the crux of the answer was, yeah, I believe that people are finding community in hate and dividedness. Those people, it's us versus them. That's bullshit. It's your way of distracting yourself from focusing on you. Right? This whole conversation tonight is about personal accountability. It's about integrity. It's about the version of yourself that you're becoming. I have been through so much shit in my life, ladies and gentlemen. I've been backstabbed. I've been lied to. I've been fired. I've been cheated on. I had my heart broken. You name it, I've experienced it. And I would not be the man today that had I not gone through those experiences and decided that that was a growth opportunity for me. I would not be that person today. I'd probably be an alcoholic. I'd be a whiner. I'd be a complainer. I'd probably have cirrhosis of the liver. I might even still smoke cigarettes. Who fucking knows? But it's not easy. So many people are, it's going to be hard, Chris. It's going to be hard. And I don't mean to make light of you guys, but you guys got to really hear yourself. It's going to be hard. Yeah, it's going to be hard. Congratulations. That's the first step. You're honest with yourself. But guess what? Over a period of time, after you do this repeatedly, it becomes a habit. And then as you start taking better care of yourself, as you start loving yourself, like I said before, the critical component of all this, you start loving yourself. You don't have to work on it as much. You have to touch base and tune in with yourself. I know for me, one of my challenges, my opportunities is I have to put fun on my calendar. That's one of my goals this year. My accountability team on my group coaching call the other night says, how are you doing on your goals, Chris? And I said, I'm crushing them because I am literally laser focused. And one of those goals is to have fun. I bought stuff for my 69 charge. If you guys follow me on Facebook, you know I posted a picture of that. My garage is organized again. I'm crushing those things. I'm putting fun stuff on my calendar. I'm playing video games with my kid in the next room. We got the next room set up. I'm making it a priority because sometimes we let things slip. And again, that's why we need those people in our life. By the way, chime in if you're watching this live or on the replay. I'll make sure I answer the questions. If you ask them on the replay, because I know a lot of you guys watch it on the East Coast in the morning. Thank you very much. Feel free to ask me the question. I'll make sure that I get that answer to you. We got Jacqueline Rose in the house. What's up, sister? She says, the reason I help people so they never feel the way I felt. Exactly. Jacqueline, by the way, thank you so much, sister. She has my bracelets. She just showed off a picture. I couldn't share it, but I do sell these bracelets that say believe on one side. They say no excuses on the other. You can see them. They're on my wrists. I wear them myself. This one says unstoppable, and that one says no excuses as well. So yeah, if you ever need to look down and have a reminder, you're having a moment, and sometimes I even have to look down at them and I have to say, you know what, Chris, what do you believe in right now? Because like I said before, you guys aren't alone. I have depressive moments. I have sad moments. I have defeating moments. I have overwhelming moments. But again, I go back to the question, what am I supposed to be learning from this? How, by which going through this, am I going to be able to help a ton more people? How am I going to set the example for my son? Right? You think about that. Elizabeth says here, she goes, pain has caused growth for me. Love the things you talk about. Thank you, my sister. I appreciate you. Yeah, iron sharpens iron, I think, as the good book says. I know you're a fan of that book. The Bible as it is. I'm not afraid to say that book. I tend to follow things all more in a general landscape. You and I have had that conversation a little bit. Robert saying, hi, Jacqueline Rose. So that was the number one question. That was the number one mistake, is people sit there and can't think they can do it. So another 2 words I want you to eliminate from your vocabulary is always and never. I always screw up. I never get it right. I'll never be the person that my parents want me to be. I'll never get the job that I want. I'll always be stupid. I'm always ugly, or I never, whatever. You find yourself saying that. And here's something I encourage you to do. I don't know if I have one. Do I have my favorite tool? Ooh, I do have my favorite tool. This is my favorite tool. One of my favorite tools. You know what that is? Well, those of you guys listening on the podcast don't know what I'm dangling. It's a rubber band. I want to make sure you guys got that. It's a rubber. Like he's holding a condom. No, he's holding a rubber band. I am a fan of these. I'm a fan of putting this around your wrist. I'm not a sadomasochist, but you go like this. God, I said always again. You know what? I'm not going to say always. Oh, I said never again. You sit there and you do a tiny little bit of awareness. That's what I call it, a little awareness band. And you snap it and you sit there and say, you know what? I'm not going to say that anymore. There is a wonderful word out there that I use, which is called perhaps. Perhaps if I start Googling the situations that I'm struggling with and taking the answers and implementing them, perhaps I will get different results. Perhaps if I talk to my husband and be honest with them about how I feel, perhaps we'll start getting different solutions. And if not, then perhaps I need to walk on and move on to the next relationship. Perhaps if I have a conversation with my boss, he'll stop giving me 17 hours worth of work and expecting it done in 8. Perhaps, right? Perhaps I'll pick up the supercomputer in my fucking hand and I'll Google or I'll YouTube or I'll chat GBT what's going on. I can tell you this, guys. I was not a fan of chat GBT. I felt like it was being lazy. I felt blah, 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 blah. All these different things. I use ChatGPT. I use it to help me refine my work. So I will type something in a ChatGPT. I'm like, chat, help me vet this out. How would you say this differently? Chat, what are some great questions to ask about this? ChatGPT is excellent and it's not going to go away. So you have chat, you have YouTube, you have Google. There are so many other opportunities out there. Again, you can get a therapist, you can get a coach, you can get an accountability partner. You can ask a question on Reddit. You can ask a question. There's so many places. Stop waiting. Stop playing the someday game and hoping, wishing, and praying. Oh my God, I hope, wish, and pray that someday I'll be happy. I hope and wish and pray one day I'll lose weight. I hope someday I'll have the strength to make different choices. There is no someday on the calendar. I was going to pull up my calendar, but I'm not going to do that. There is no someday on a calendar. There is the day you're born, the day you die, and then that little dash in between. And some of you guys know the dash. Let me tell you a quick story about that, just in case you do know, because I know a lot of people know about the dash poem. I quoted the dash poem. This is a fucking true story. True story. I love the dash poem. It talks about how your life is that dash. And when I used to write blogs, quite frequently, there's a ton of blogs on my website. If you ever want to go see them, ChristopherRausch.com or noexcusescoach.com. Go into blogs and you can see stuff I've written. Not very writing so much as I've been doing the book. But I quoted the poem and I quoted it with the website and the person's name. And then 5-10 days later, I had a cease and desist in my email and an attorney telling me that I needed to pay him like $7,000 or they were going to sue me. I immediately went in and took down the poem and wrote back. I said, I apologize. I said, I had no idea. I said, I did the right thing. And I quoted it and I put your website on there so people could be sent to you. And they came back with all sorts of threatening legal mumbo jumbo. And so I went on and I Googled, because that's what I do. I Googled the poem dash attorney harassment. And I found out tons and tons of people had the same thing. These are called ambulance chasers or wheelchair chasers, where they look for people to screw up and then they go sue them and intimidate them. And so they said, don't do anything with it. And so I stopped replying. And of course the person went away. But I had other people saying, oh, the poem, the dash. I'm like, fuck those people. So there you have that. Let me get to a couple of these other questions that people had sent me because I wanted to make sure I answered them. A lot of them are like kind of the same way. How do you shift your mental state when you feel completely stuck? That's a really good one. How do you shift your mental state when you feel completely stuck? And I can tell you it's one word. It rhymes with attitude, and it's called gratitude. Gratitude. So when I feel stuck or my mental state sucks, I immediately stop. I stop and I ask myself, why am I reacting to this emotionally? Why am I taking this personal? Again, it's all about the questions you ask yourself. Why am I taking this personal? Why am I reacting emotionally? And then I think, what am I grateful for? What am I grateful for in general? I'm grateful for the fact that my son is alive and breathing. I'm grateful that I get to be a dad. I'm grateful for the air that I breathe on my own, because I have known people who had COVID and said, Chris, I could barely breathe. And man, to take a deep breath and see the wind, the leaves blowing. I love to look up at the trees and see the leaves blowing. Blowing? Is that a word, blowing? They're blowing, dude. They're blowing. No, see the leaves blowing. It's the simple shit. Watching the water ripple. You know, I go to a lake, go to the ocean. I love going to the ocean. It's one of my favorite places on earth. I go to the ocean. I just watch the waves one after another. And I wonder where that water came from. And I'm grateful. I'm grateful for nature. I'm grateful for my wife. I'm grateful for you guys. I'm grateful for the voice that I have to do this podcast. I'm grateful for my eyesight. I can't imagine how my life would be if I didn't have my eyesight. Yet people do it. I'm grateful for the legs that I have to walk. I'm grateful for every single moment I have on this planet, and I intend not to waste it. So when I'm in those sucky moments, and trust me, I get there, not nearly as often as I used to, but I go immediately to gratitude. And again, what can I be grateful? This is the tough one. What can I be grateful for in this moment and with this challenge? How can I be grateful for the shit that I'm going through right now? I'm grateful if I have the opportunity that I have a house, maybe to think about the mortgage with. I'm grateful that right now, I won't go into details, that I have a son who is challenged at school a little bit and I have to talk to the teachers. I'm grateful for that opportunity to learn more about what they go through. So gratitude is the thing that gets me centered every single day. Again, when I wake up, and it's all about your intention. First thing I do when I wake up, and really the first thing I do when I go to sleep, is I say what I'm grateful for. I'm grateful for the power and the opportunity to impact millions of lives. I'm grateful for the fact that I get to use my words and my actions to make the world a different place. And then I often say what I'm grateful for that day. I'm grateful for this. I'm grateful for that. Sometimes it's weird shit. I'm grateful my truck didn't break down today. I'm grateful that my car started. I'm grateful for the beautiful bed that I have. I'm grateful that when I got in this cube called a shower, that when I flipped the handle over, fucking hot water came out of the wall. You guys ever taken a cold shower? Have you guys ever had not to being able to take a shower? I have. Hot water is pretty fucking cool. I'm grateful for the water I get to drink, and I need a drink. My throat hurts a little bit. Been talking since all fucking day. Shit, we've been going for 43 minutes. So if you guys have any questions, let me know. So again, gratitude. Wake up, what you're grateful for. Next thing, I think we talked about a little bit, but set the intention. Set the intention. My intention is to use my words and my actions to make the world a better place. My intention is to be a present and playful parent. My intention is to listen more than I speak. My intention is to truly, truly listen to this one. My intention is to truly understand when someone is speaking to me. My intention is to fucking listen and then say back to them, so Chris, here's what I heard you say. So many of us, and I'll put myself included, because sometimes I'm not great at it, but so many of us don't listen. We hear somebody says 100 words, we hear 25, and then we put them all together and we make an assumption and we think, oh, I fucking know what they're talking about. Then we interrupt them before they even have the chance to finish. Just shut up. Shut the fuck up and set the intention to be a listener. Wow, when my husband comes home at night, I'm going to actually listen to what he says instead of going, oh, that sucks, dear. I'm sorry. So here's what my day was like. And oftentimes we do that. We play the one-upsmanship game. Oh, well, if your day was bad, here's how bad my fucking day was. Or we do that with our friends. Just shut up and listen. Man, that's gotta suck. Tell me more about that. How did you get through that? Right? Ask some questions. People love to be heard. That's one of the people that tell me in my coaching, especially, or in my general relationships, Chris, you really listen. You ask questions. I do that with my friends all the time. Like, wow, we may disagree on something. I have a friend of mine, we disagree on politics. I'm like, tell me more about that. How do you feel like that? Where does that come from? Does that come from what your parents told you? Does that come from the media that you come through? Well, it's about this, and that. And thank you for asking. So again, set the intention. Don't wake up and be all pissed off and mad at the world. Oh, fuck, I got to go to this job. My boss is getting me in a shitty mood. Do you have a fucking car to get to the job? Do you have a job? Does it provide? Shut up and be thankful. And if you're not getting to do something, if you're not doing something and take a proactive response to change that job, then it's on you. It's on you. It's on you. What's Elizabeth say? She goes, LOL, that's me. Chata. Right on, homegirl. The Vata girl. What are you, Cholita? I used to be hanging around the Mexicans. When I had hair and it was slicked back, people thought I was a Mexican. That Chris, you Hispanic? I was the only white dude in a Mexican wedding. True fucking story. I got a picture to prove it. I was wearing a light blue tuxedo with the white fruffles, whatever that fucking is. Yeah. Are you a Mexican? I dated a girl named Yvette when I was 17, something like that. She was shocked to find out I wasn't Mexican. I'm like, what didn't give you that away when I said my last name was Rausch? It wasn't like it was Hernandez or Rodriguez. Shout out to all my Mexican friends. Actually, I was just talking to my Mexican friend tonight. Leo Carrasco. So anyways, don't get me started. So yeah, chata. So so let me wind this bitch down, because I'm going to go down and spend some time with my family. There are a ton of other questions that came in, so thank you guys for the questions. Every once in a while, I do a show where I just take your questions and I answer them. So if you're new to the show, please make sure you hit subscribe. Make sure you like the show. If you're watching on YouTube, if you're listening on a podcast, here's my big ask. I just spent 46 minutes pouring my heart out, raw and unscripted style. Like I said at the top of the show, I've had one of those days and I literally, my head hurts. And it was one of those days where I'm like, fuck, I could do a replay real quick and nobody would even know that. But my intention every single day is to use my words and my actions to make this world a better place. I've said that a dozen times now. So when I go to bed tonight, when I go and I tell my wife goodnight and I give her a kiss, usually she stays awake, put my little eye mask on and I put my head on the pillow and I'm like, what am I proud of today? And I don't really say it out loud, because then she'd be like, why is he fucking mumbling to himself? Is I think, man, I'm proud of myself today for doing that podcast when I didn't feel like necessarily doing it. I know it's going to impact people and I'm going to get, messages and comments and emails in the morning. What am I proud of? What legacy am I really leaving? Again, I said that at the beginning of the show. If I died tomorrow, who would show up and what would they say? God is my witness. And I believe in God. If I died tomorrow, God forbid, please don't. I know beyond a shadow of a doubt, there will be thousands of comments on all social medias, telling my wife and my son, hey, Chris had such a massive impact in my life. I get it every single day. People tell me personally. And people tell me publicly. I'm leading a 30-day challenge on Owl. So if you guys are interested in joining an amazing app where we network and learn from each other and grow business together, OWWLL. I'm friends with the founder, Jason Hill. He's an amazing dude. I don't get involved in hardly anything. I don't partner. I don't network very often, hardly at all. I probably like very, very seldomly. But I'm a part of the Owl community. So I'm leading this 30-day challenge. I already got people hitting me up saying, thanks, Chris, for their motivational videos. Thank you for your post. I already feel inspired. I know I'm going to crush this 30-day challenge. So my question to you is, what are the 3 things you're going to take from this conversation tonight? I would love for you to, Nicole, why do you always show up at the end? Woman, you better go back and watch this again. This is a fire episode, I think. I think so myself. What are the 3 things you're going to do? I would love for you guys to send me a private message or put it in the chat. What are the 3 things you're going to take away from this? Because that helps me reinforce what it is that I'm talking about. Yeah, you better be sorry, girl. Yeah. I'm spitting fire right now. Actually, all the time I spit fire, pretty much. Especially when I have heartburn. That's another joke. I did have a ton of salsa before I came online. I was like, I'm surprised I'm not burping salsa. We have a farm across the street that makes homemade salsa. Oh my God. Support your local farmers in your local community. I know I'm all over the place. I'm really super tired. So yes, what are the 3 things you're going to do? And thank you guys for supporting this. Please share this out, whether you send it out on social media, no matter if you have 2 followers, you have 2,000 followers, share this out and say, hey, this guy helped me with this, because that's my intention. That's my goal every single day, to make this world a beautiful place, to get us to see things more that we are the same than we are different, no matter what color you are, race, creed, sexual orientation, religious belief, whatever fucking label you want to put on it. I don't like labels. I believe that we're more the same than we are different. And it's my intention to bring this world together. It's my intention to use my voice and to collaborate with people that are going to allow me to do that. My intention is to help millions and millions and millions and millions of people. I want to be known all over the world, not from an egoic standpoint, but from, hey, that dude helped me. That dude got me to see something different. That guy got me to stop being divided. That guy stopped me to hating people. Why do you say hate? Oh, I hate. Again, the negative self-talk, reinforcement, hate. What do you love? What do you love? So there it is for you guys. Yes, Nicole says here, no labels. Yeah, no labels. You get 2 choices. I could do a whole episode on love over fear. Like, what are you looking through the lens of? Looking through the lens of love? You're looking through the lens of fear. A lot of you motherfuckers are looking through the lens of fear and scarcity, all that stuff. I'm going to tell you, next week, I got a treat for you. Next week, I am doing a guest. I'm doing a guest very sporadically now, but I got a dude named Brian Kelm. Brian was on the show like 200 episodes ago. We had a magnificent conversation. I'm only inviting people to be on the show if I know that we can have a magnificent conversation. It's not to say that anybody that I've had on the show wasn't a magnificent conversation or a great conversation, but I'm really genuinely interested in having those in-depth chats by which that you walk away feeling served, right? You don't pay anything for this. I would love for you to join my group coaching program. It's a super nominal investment. We meet twice a month. We have Zoom call that usually lasts about an hour and a half of me teaching and talking and you guys sharing. And it's a phenomenal, I will tell you this, honestly, it's a phenomenal investment, because normally I charge a lot more for that. And it started off as an accountability group, but because I give from my heart, I'm going to be raising the price on it because it is pretty ridiculous, but I would love for you guys to join, especially you guys that keep saying you're going to, and then you don't. I got a problem with that. And I'd just be honest with you. So yes, next week, tune in, same time, 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, here live on the video cast, or again, if you're listening anywhere on the podcast around the world, thank you. Send me an email, info@noexcusescoach.com. Let me know where you're coming in from. And again, what type of episode you would love me to do. And like I said at the beginning of the show, it's just you and me, kid. And no, that's not me. That's Dave Grohl. Because I wrapped my cover in Dave Grohl's book. Thank you, my dear. Doing amazing. Yes, I believe so too. And so are you. So let's continue to rise above all the bullshit and the negativity. I hope it's my intention that that those of you who reached out and asked me to talk about the subject tonight feel served. Elizabeth saying good night. See you tomorrow. Enjoy your family. I will. I love you guys with the bottom of all my heart, and let's together rise above. So we'll see you next time on the Raw and Unscripted Show.